All right, hello everybody. This is Daniela here, and I just wanted to do a quick brief video about anger. And a lot of us struggle with anger at different places in our life, whether it's anger with our children, maybe our children are exhibiting anger, anger, resentment with our spouses, family members, things like that. And so I wanted to talk about the root of anger and where it comes from. Anger is completely fear-based, and once we understand this concept and are able to grasp it, we're able to get control of the anger that we're experiencing in our life that's negatively impacting us. And so the biggest saying is understanding that all anger comes from a place of fear within. So whether we're angry or someone else is angry, that behind all of that loud and yelling and maybe name calling or whatever inappropriate things coming out of that moment, that person is afraid. And so when we can see others from a place of understanding, wow, this person's really afraid right now. What are they afraid of? Or maybe I'm really afraid if I'm being angry and I'm screaming and yelling at someone. So if we can get to the place in our lives where we understand that if we are angry or our children are angry or our spouse is angry, that they're afraid, and we can address the fear that is behind the anger, we can resolve and the anger completely dissipates because it's only a symptom of the bigger problem. So we want to really focus on what am I afraid of. So I want to give a couple quick scenarios of things that maybe make us angry. So I'm in the grocery store and I'm trying to get through because I have dinner to make and lunches to pack and kids to get to bed and laundry, and my children are just being wild in the grocery store, and I want this and I want this and I want that, and I'm angry. And I'm like, it's boiling in me. I'm super, super angry. So what's actually going on under the level? So there's multiple things. So I have a fear of looking like a bad mom in public. I have a fear of being embarrassed. I have a fear of being judged. I have a fear of my kids not turning out to be good people. I have, we have fears. So there's all these different fears that are below the surface, and they are going to present themselves as me yelling, as me, shouting or name calling or, doing something inappropriate because of the anger. And so I really encourage everyone, if you are struggling with anger in your life, to look at what you are afraid of. So ask yourself, that person just said this to me and it made me really angry. What am I angry about? What lie is implanted in my identity, in my person, that causes that person's words to make me angry? Why did that car cutting me off make me angry? Am I afraid that I'm unsafe? Am I afraid that I'm not respected? Am I afraid that my time is not valued? Am I afraid I'm going to be late and be judged for that? Everything is coming from a place of fear often. Most of our decisions in life are made, unfortunately, from that place. And so as we begin to examine why we are angry, we are able to take back that control. So we can say, okay, I'm really, really angry right now. What am I afraid of? And as I begin to examine, I'm afraid of not being respected, I'm afraid of not being heard, I'm afraid of not being seen, whatever it is. And then I can heal that aspect of me and I can say, okay, where did that start? Where was the first time that I didn't feel respected, or I didn't feel validated, or I didn't feel special? And then we can go back, and oftentimes we'll find a place in our life where maybe this happened to us as a child, or maybe in school, or whatever the root cause. Maybe our relationship with our parents, we weren't validated, or we lived where we weren't seen, or we were ignored, or our opinions didn't matter. And so we adopted at that point a lie. And that lie became our truth that we built our foundation on. And so when we see anger is built on fear, and our fear is based on the lie. So we have 3 levels that actually we have to go through before we can get to why the actual behavior is happening and how do we get rid of it. We cannot tell someone that's angry, don't be angry, because that doesn't work. Even if they can learn coping skills, they're not actually getting rid of the emotion. And so it's just going to manifest itself in another way. So maybe someone stops smoking, but they start shopping or eating too much or whatever it is. They're just going to move the unhealthy behavior from one thing to another. And that's where we see an addict, stop drinking or stop doing drugs, but now they have a gambling problem, because the roots of the problem is what we are not addressing. And so I want to talk to everyone again and encourage you. If you are feeling anger, if you are feeling fear, let's dig deep in ourselves and let's figure out, what am I afraid of and what am I not dealing with? Or maybe it's with our children. If we have a child that has an anger management problem, what are they afraid of? Are they afraid of not being respected? Are they afraid of not being heard, not loved? Whatever that is, that's the need we need to meet underneath the anger. The anger is just a symptom. The person that cussed at us as we were driving past them, that person is that anger, that action that they did to us. Number one, it wasn't personal, and it was just a fear reaction from them fearing that we weren't going to see them, we were going to violate their rights, that we were impeding on them, that they're going to be late. They have a million concepts in their mind that they're afraid of, and the reaction we see is anger on the outside. So I really want everyone to start focusing on, what am I afraid of? Not what am I angry about, what makes me mad, but what am I afraid of? And why does that make me mad? Why does that make me angry? So as we start to look at that, we'll be able to also view others differently and not take their actions personally, and be able to grow as a person and realize that my behavior is often based on fear, and so is the other person. And what normally happens in an altercation between two people, maybe spouse, maybe a child and parent, or two spouses, is that both of them at the same time are angry because they're both afraid. They're afraid of rejection, they're afraid of not being loved, they're afraid of not being heard. And so you have two people yelling because their inner child is afraid. And so if we can get past the anger and start going, wow, my husband's upset right now, he's angry. What is he afraid of? Is he afraid that I don't value him? Is he afraid I don't respect him? Is he afraid that I don't hear him? Or that I'm going to go against him in some way? So understanding what anger is and what it isn't can help us not take it personally, number one. Learn to control our own responses and check our own self and say, okay, where am I? And why am I angry? I'm angry because I'm afraid of A, B, and C. And so then I can address A, B, and C, because A, B, and C often come from a lie that was implanted in us that we accepted as truth. Some trauma, some abuse, some event that happened that we believed, and so it created fear, and that fear became anger. And so as we unmask that and we kind of unwrap that onion of layers and we get to the core is that lie that we accepted as truth that now makes us live in fear. And on top of that fear, we exhibit anger. So we have a 3-layer shell that we have to begin to unmask and unlayer if we're going to heal and be healthier people. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments anything that I can do to help, any topics that you're interested in hearing. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.